If you have an entrepreneurial mind, if you are a dreamer in any way, shape, or form, then do it. Just don't wait. Don't wait for the stars to align, because I promise you, the stars will never align. That's not the way the world works.
Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
And we are back with another episode of The Julius Files. I am your host, Jason Julius, and today we are doing a Q&JP. And just for the purposes of reminding, JP is the Julius Perspective, because I'm not here to give you answers. I'm here to give you my perspective. And then you find your own answers so that you can hold yourself accountable for the decisions that you make yourself. We have a new guest today, and oddly, I feel like the cast now is well-rounded when it comes to representation from each of the brands in general, and we haven't found a nickname for her yet, but I'm quite sure that as her personality comes out, we will find that nickname. But before we get started with that, I have my I don't know, I keep saying it's a monologue, but I mean, I think that it might be more of a rant. And today, though, what I want to talk about is perfection and progress, and too many people waiting for the stars to align before they decide to do anything. And then they get down the road and they have regret because they look back on what they thought about doing, what sounded good in the moment, but they never took any action because they waited for everything to be, quote unquote, perfect. And one, perfection is a moving target. I don't like the word perfect. I mean, for a lot of reasons, I despise the word perfect because it is a moving target, because it is subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what is perfect is definitely very subjective according to what somebody else might see or perceive. But the point is, waiting for perfect really does get in the way of progress. And if I waited for perfect to start my business, then a business would not exist. This group would not exist. If I waited for perfect to start this podcast, we would still be waiting for perfect, because perfect never comes. And so many things are when it comes to entrepreneurship, I don't know that I've ever met an entrepreneur that was like, I planned this out in 50 steps, and then I took the first step because the stars aligned and it was perfect. And this is just how I knew this was the exact right time for me to start this business. Like, it doesn't happen that way. It is you have a good idea, you create a semblance of a plan, and you jump in with both feet and you figure it the fuck out. And it's too many great ideas that's where I said, knowledge is not power. It is what you do with that knowledge that is power. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Those ideas, if you do not put an action plan in place, then an idea is, everybody's got ideas. And I'll be honest with you, most of the ideas are dumb ideas. I've come across and developed my fair share of dumb ideas. But I found out that they were dumb ideas when I started jumping forward and decided that I was going to test them. Very rarely do I come up with any idea and be like, oh, but let's wait for the stars to align. I don't know. I've got a dumb idea right now with the bus, but you know what? I jumped out and I bought the damn bus, and we're going to figure it out. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to end up being a really cool idea. But the point being, the people that accomplish do not wait for the stars to align. That they come up with a semblance of a plan, and they jump in with both feet and they start figuring it out. And They look for the resources they need to bring together things on the fly, not I planned this out and I have this resource that's been sitting here for 6 months waiting for me to make my move. So many great plans or great ideas are stifled because you wait for perfection, and it never comes. So if you have an idea, I'm telling you now that move on it. Don't be the person that's full of hot air. Don't be the consummate dreamer that dreams grand dreams and never follows through on any of them, because you will get later in life and you will regret never finding out, never testing, never putting your idea into action to find out. You never know. Your idea could be $1 million idea, but if you're waiting for the stars to align, you will never know. And if you don't know, you will find yourself looking back later on in life, regretting never knowing, because you never took that first step. And that first step is very important to bring something from a brainchild into actual existence. And I can honestly tell you that Coffee Junkies would not exist. Pizza Junkies would not exist if when I thought about it, I decided that I was going to plan everything out ahead of time and wait for a perfect moment to do it. I can honestly say, from all of you sitting here, I don't think that you ever saw me wait for a perfect moment to do anything. It was, I've got this crazy ass idea and we're going to do it. I mean, right down to the bus. Matt was like, we're driving where to pick up what? Yeah, I saw it on Facebook and I told him I was coming to pick it up. And it was not a well thought out thing. But it was, I remember it was something from Grant Cardone, and Grant made the comment about the difference between the winners and losers were the ones that they came up with a great idea, and in that moment they acted. And that was the difference. He
probably wasn't talking about a school bus.
No. Well, but
Maybe,
I mean, I don't. From what I know about that dude, because his earlier
he
story.
He doesn't have a bus.
You know what? No, he's got helicopters and jets, but I know.
Can we get some?
Well, hey, everything, and I don't want to. We're not waiting for perfect, but we got to wait for a little bit of money for something like that. But like what I know about his story was that he was set to be on TV for a show, and then all of a sudden they canceled the show, and as the story goes, he looked over at a dude and was like, "Watch, I'm going to make myself famous." And before you know it, he started just posting all kinds of crazy shit in the moment, whatever he might have been thinking or doing in the moment. And there were a lot of doubters that was like, dude, you shouldn't be doing that. That's not good for your brand. And he didn't give a shit. He just kept posting. And like, that dude is known now. Not only does he own billions of dollars worth of real estate, so he's known for being a pretty sharp business mind. He's also, like, the dude made himself famous because he didn't wait. He had himself booked on a show, and when it fell through, he was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm not waiting on somebody else to bring my stardom out. I'm going to do it myself. And he just jumped out, and like, as the story goes, like, you knew when this dude was taking a piss because he didn't care. He just posted. But the man is very well known now, and he's got deep pockets, and he didn't wait. And my big encouragement is that if you have an entrepreneurial mind, if you are a dreamer in any way, shape, or form, then do it. Just don't wait. Don't wait for the stars to align, because I promise you the stars will never align. That's not the way the world works. But okay, that's my opening, and again we're gonna get on to the Q&JP. So I want to introduce somebody new to the group. Her name is Stephanie, and Stephanie is let's just say Stephanie is the new addition to the group. But she came with the business that I purchased, Vicker's Graphics, which is an apparel business. And and she has quite the personality. So I knew that she would bring a little bit of something to the show. So, Stephanie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Well, hello. Thank you.
Oh my God, that is
hello.
that is not this chick. That is so not this chick at all. I'm like, hello.
What up, bitches? How's it going?
There we go. Okay, that's it.
I love Vickers. I'm glad to be back and part of the team. It's always good to come back to change, but same thing. It's still family. So
no, and that was the thing right there is that Stephanie had been a part of Vickers for a very long time. And there was a separation there. And when Matt died, she was one of the people that actually knew the business very well. And a call went out to her to say, you know it very well, please come back. And then that's when I met her. And after a couple days, it was
he was hooked.
Yeah. Well, let's just say we came to a longer term employment agreement pretty quickly. And I'm not going to deny that I've taken a liking to the personality that she brings to the group in general. When I told Matt that I was going to bring her on the show, he was like, "Yeah, good choice." So we'll see how this goes. Today's liable to be pretty interesting because Rebecca's kind of got a little bit of a chip on her shoulder. Like I don't know how her question's going to come out. She might just start like ranting herself. This has been a very trying couple weeks to a month. This world is just a little bit different right now. And
slightly.
Yes, slightly. That's what I said. It's there's the world is in flux right now, and I guess through this whole process, well, I guess we'll kind of find a way to talk about that. But in the Q&JP, the whole point is that this is and I'm sure at some point maybe this leads to maybe fielding some questions from online submissions, that kind of thing. But it was an opportunity for the group to ask me questions and kind of get my perspective. And there's no telling where I'll take the answer, but I also leave the question completely open. Like whatever we're learning each other. So, but I fair warn you, I'll take whatever question comes. You got to take my perspective as it happens to come out. So,
that's fair enough. Yeah.
we will start with Stephanie, and I do
like to take these times to press buttons.
Okay.
He does. He does.
Because he can't. He still yells at me on here. But
yeah.
Oh my God!
This is where I get witnesses.
That is so.
Got a witness. That's
For example, you'll notice everybody's in nice wheelie chairs, and I'm in this shit chair. But
that is.
I don't want to hear it. The chair I sit in every day is a piece of shit.
We got to get that fixed,
yes,
because I'm like I can't believe those chairs in that office is just not.
Out of everything that he's trying to
what
fix,
are you giving me that look for? You have got
You have
nice.
somebody else in line that needs a chair, and it's not me.
I have already. No, that's not that. Thank you for speaking up for her, but I've already told her to get online and pick out her chair.
Okay, I'll back that up.
Okay, because no. I went to her and for all we're talking about Trish, the demi-galactic goddess. She's not here today, but the point is,
hey, and you got your name right.
She was on me. I say she was on me. Apparently, she was on Matt. And Matt brought it to me, and I walked up to her and was like, "Girl, I think the world of you. Like, why would you not say something to me about having an issue with your chair? It's just a fucking chair. I'll replace your chair. I want you to be comfortable when I thought you were about ready." I'm like, wait a minute. You got like fucking captain's, like you got a chair that Brian's envious of. Like you have a nice chair. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Is it a lazy boy?
I don't know what kind of.
I got a lazy boy chair.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She earned that. She works hard for that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I said
She just likes
she
likes the high back.
You should have seen the chair I sat in before. Man, you go like this and it goes poof.
Hey,
Wait, if it's a high back, can you
know
see?
what? But that's
if it's a high back chair, can you see her if you walk behind the
No,
chair?
honestly, you can't.
You
No, you can't. No, that's
You're just sitting there, and all of a sudden,
I can just see you being all little and cute.
yeah, no. That's what I said. That,
What you got?
Yes.
but humble beginnings. Because one of the first buildings I bought came with a bunch of office chairs, and I'm like, why the hell do we need to buy chairs? We got chairs here.
Yeah.
And those chairs worked for a good long time.
Those
because
are probably still the chairs that are in the office.
no, they're surrounding the conference table
Downstairs.
because they're not bad chairs. They just don't rock. They're not. I mean, like you'd honestly probably take one of those chairs for the chair
Over
that you're
the chair
actually,
I got?
Yes,
Yes, I would.
exactly. That's what I said.
Yeah, the chairs there are pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
If I lift my feet up, I just slide right down out of the chair.
it does kind of tilt forward. I don't quite
I'm
understand
serious.
that. That's
When I
yeah.
get bored, I throw my hands up, lift my feet like a little ride. Woo! Slide right down.
As she's grabbing her bullhorn, I'm coming, bitches. Which, by the way, yeah, because by taking over Vickers, I'm like, okay, we got to start in with our footage. So I've gotten a GoPro over there, and some of that will start coming to light because Stephanie and specifically Stephanie, but Stephanie and Daryl have had a little bit of fun with the GoPro, and Stephanie has this little red bullhorn that she loves to set people up with, and yeah, she's got me a couple times. I'm turning sooner or later that's I give as good as I get, but she got me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He turned around. He said, don't forget that I like paybacks. And I said, bring it on, bitch. What you got?
Okay, so this will be. Well, let's see how this is going to go. What is your question?
So it really is revolving and based on what's going on in my personal life.
Okay, I mean, I'm horrible with my personal life, but I give good advice.
It is my personal life because it's something that's going on, but I don't feel like it's just me. There's a lot of parents that are dealing with this, but it's the way the school system has treated my son.
Okay.
So the fact that he gets in trouble and is suspended, and within those days of suspension, they tell me it's 10 days. And after 14 days, I get a letter telling me that he's expelled for one whole school year and another half. But when he goes back, because he's a straight A student and has all the credits and has never been in real trouble, when he comes back, he can still go on to the next grade. How the fuck is that fair?
What do you do?
They said that there is a zero tolerance policy, and my son is Captain Save-A-Ho and wants to save his friends, and got caught throwing a vape into the trash twice, and then got caught physically with a vape on him twice. So there's 4 offenses within 2 school years, and they expelled him.
So they don't want him to get educated just because he had a vape on him?
Right. They're going to send him home while I'm at work, his dad's at work, and he gets to sit at home alone and do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And vape, probably.
And vape.
Well, no, this is what kills me is that she's like, okay, so she goes to enroll him in another school system, and they're like, he's been expelled from this school system. We're not allowed to admit him in our school system.
They all talk to each other.
I didn't know it worked that way until
Yeah.
this.
It's absolutely
You have to
ridiculous
have
to me.
release
I can't
from
get
them
him.
to go there.
I can't get him into the Excel Center. I can't take him to McKinley. I can't take him anywhere. And the only option I have is to print off paperwork from the internet and say, here, 16-year-old son of mine, while I'm at work, stay home and do these papers. It doesn't work that way.
Well, and I had told you that honestly, I mean, because I understand where you're coming from. I understand where they're coming from somewhat. Because I'm like, it's vaping. I look back and I'm like, I mean, I was hotboxing cigarettes in the stalls when I was
smoking
a kid.
cigarettes in the bathroom.
I don't recall anybody necessarily being. I mean, like people were getting expelled for freaking weapons and drugs when I was in school. Like,
So you're the reason we had no doors on any of the stalls. In the men's room.
Do you know
I
what?
tried that when we were in school too. They did
That's-
protest.
Well, my thing is when I got in trouble in school, I had in-school suspension. I wasn't sent home. I was
Exactly.
in one room doing all my homework the entire day. That was the bigger punishment than being expelled, taking zeros.
That
Exactly.
that was the worst.
That was the worst.
Yeah.
So why don't they do that now? Instead, you're going to send him
Well,
home.
what I told you though is I thought that, I mean, because trying to the parental side of it, make him read books, make him work, so that you could go back to the school system and be like, okay, I'm still doing my job as a parent, even though you're not doing your job as school, because it's like it's a cop out, taking the easy way out. We have a zero tolerance policy, and I'm like, you make special exceptions for this person and not for this person. And vaping is definitely not something that, what's your penalty? Well, I'm going to stop educating a child. That just does not, I mean, like,
Denying him an education.
Right.
And that's the route. You need to go from that direction.
But I want to
And
know
it's
if they're
not
still getting their
zero.
money too, because
Of course.
Oh yeah,
That's-
I still got to pay the fees. Oh yeah, I got to pay the fees.
and you know what's funny is that like you go like Preston was going to the Excel Center and they were willing to count him truant and talk about sending a cop out into the program, but yet a kid can get expelled and they still keep their money and it's okay to settle. Because I mean, for anybody that's listening, like the kid is a straight A student and he has the legitimate capability of a full ride scholarship in baseball. Like the kid's that talented, and they're literally trying to expel him to just flat out deny him an education and sabotage his future.
Even
And
if he does go back to Western, he'll never be able to wear a uniform.
He can't play ball anymore?
Nope, never be able to wear an athletic uniform for his entire high school career.
yeah,
Yep.
And it's not zero tolerance either because he got caught 4 times. So
Well,
their little
the
rule
zero
doesn't
tolerance
apply.
thing never is zero.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
you're
it-
going to
I
say
mean-
it. It's zero. Okay, then the first time they should.
It's
And why
just
so
crazy
long?
to me.
Why is this so dang long?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, why does it have to be for the remainder of this year and all first semester of next year? But he can still go back as a junior. And I said, well, how is that going to affect his grades if he's gone for one whole semester? Well, he'll have to make it up.
Yeah, he's going to lose
You're
credits.
fucking
He's not
kidding
going to
me.
graduate on time unless he takes summer classes and does double time.
Well, and that's the thing. He's already got enough credits to keep him at the grade level that he's at and to excel because he's a straight A student and he's done extracurricular classes up till now. So I'm just confused. The school system is a little confusing to me at this
because
moment.
I automatically go towards the money side of it, and I would just love to know how that piece of it is playing out, because even it's like the money grab that is and has been occurring in the colleges has filtered their way down to the K through 12, where they're looking at these colleges getting rich and they're like, well, how can we get our cut? And at the same time, also, I've seen situations where it's like they're jockeying to get the money while also skirting the responsibility that comes with collecting the money at the same time. And I mean, I don't know that there is a necessarily good answer there, but I do know that a whole lot has changed in this world and has changed inside of these school systems that it's not, none of it is doing our kids any favors.
No.
Whether it be educationally or socially, the things that are coming out of these school systems now are, different than the colleges. The colleges, you used to be going to college to show you how to learn. And now you're going to college to be indoctrinated with how they want you to think, and racking up a huge bill. So like you're paying and going into debt to be indoctrinated, not necessarily to be educated on how to continue a lifelong learning. And that's one more way that the country is failing in many different places. But I have no great answer for you there because I don't know that there is a great answer for that.
I don't know that there's an answer for it either. I guess I just need some better understanding as to how they feel that what they're doing is beneficial to any child. Maybe not necessarily mine or specifically mine, but any child for that matter. I mean, don't send them home to do whatever they want. Put them in a classroom and make them do what they have to do, which is their schoolwork.
I mean, I ran into pretty much the same thing when I was in high school because I have IBS and Crohn's disease, so I have legit medical conditions. And they took all the doors off of the stalls. And I'm sorry, no, I do not want to shit in front of a bunch of people.
No,
And I was like, let me get another bathroom. They're like, no, because you guys smoke in the bathrooms. And I was like, well, then I just won't come to school. And I was a straight A student. They're like, no, you can't take all these days off. It's like, well, I am.
I have a medical situation where you have to comply to what's going on with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In 11th grade, they kicked me out.
Wow.
They're like, you've already missed too many days. You miss another day, then you're going all the way back to 9th grade if you miss another day.
What?
Or you can leave. And I was like, well, I guess
Wow.
I'm leaving.
Well, and
They're
seeing
like, you need to call
because
your mom, and I was like, I'm not calling her. I was like, you can call her.
in the latter years of schooling for me, they were just starting to implement the policy where if you miss so many days, they stripped you of your credits. But then they put me through a testing evaluation, and they were like, he is experiencing mental turmoil due to the separation from his parents and
That's
blah,
what
blah,
killed-
blah,
there
blah,
was
blah.
None of that.
Yeah.
I had medical conditions. My dad just killed himself at the end of 10th grade. None of that. They didn't care.
That's
No.
crazy. And that brings up another situation. They have all these e-learning days, right? So they have to make up e-learning days, or if the weather's bad, they have
Yeah.
that fancy tablet they can work on. So my youngest son didn't actually hit the login button. He watched the video and did the homework, but because he didn't log in for 5 days of e-learning, those are unexcused absences. They're not accepting his homework. And I got a letter in the mail telling me if he misses any more days without a doctor's note, DCS will be involved. I said, are you fucking
and
kidding
again,
me right
that's-
now?
Start her own school.
Well, no, I don't.
I love kids, but not that much.
No. There we go. That's because
don't run it.
no,
We're the
it's just
principal.
it's a step towards the totalitarian state, and that's what pisses me off about that. And I just on the other end of it though, it wouldn't have gotten like that had more parents gotten involved and refused to allow it to go like that.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, parents have sat back and then let these groups come together and dream up this retardedness. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, it is. It's
that-
ridiculous.
He
There's-
tries not to use that word.
I try because I do try and be inclusive. I'm not trying to offend anybody, and apparently that is one of those words that in today's day and age
it
is
was
not.
acceptable
Can be very
back in our
offensive.
day.
I
Yeah,
get
that's there's so many things that were acceptable that they're not acceptable today. I'm not trying to be canceled for my use of language
We're
today.
we're
Yeah,
canceled.
no, I get that,
Back it up. We're done.
yeah. So in their quest for perfection, they have found a way to screw it up in a completely different way.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to Mr. Matt Bradshaw, Master Blaster Matt Bradshaw. Do you have a question for me today?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
I was not prepared today for any of this.
Because we do things last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
We-
my
we
question.
do?
Why do we never plan anything?
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was talking to her.
perfect.
I would. Oh my God.
All right, your question.
I was talking to Rebecca today about legitimately us needed to brainstorm and have like a mastermind come together session and create several different action plans across several different pieces, because it's at this point I'm like, I mean, Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies is the operations are operating, the systems are in place, it's generally doing what it needs to do. We're dealing with a new age, the inflation, the nobody wants to actually work. It's creating some challenges when it comes
Plus
to
the supply chain.
yeah, there's challenges in that operation. But when it comes to Scared Rabbit, when it comes to Vickers, and when it comes to the franchising, there's pieces of the puzzle that have not been put in place, and it is time to literally develop an action plan and breaking it down into pieces and starting to assign it to people with deadlines to start pulling all of these pieces together, so that the synergy of what I know is there and the whole reason that I put this all together actually starts occurring. And that's where it comes back to I mean, you got the people that'll go out there and they'll talk about the glamour of business. And I'm just here to tell you that after 17 years, the problems don't stop. They keep coming, and they manifest in different ways that I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm having fun right now. And the ebbs and flows of having fun in business come down to the problems and the mountains that you climb and the pieces of the puzzle that you find and put together. But inevitably, squeaky wheel gets the grease, and another and another and another. And we're having this problem when it comes to people not wanting to work and wanting free shit and having just unrealistic expectations.
And the host didn't mute his phone.
Yeah, I know. I messed that part up.
We are definitely being canceled.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. So the point being, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every day running a business is not fun, because sometimes the problems, even when you see the solutions, actually implementing the solutions is not as easy as the solution that you can see right in front of you. It's getting up every day and battling another day, knowing that there are days that you're going to take steps backwards. And it's getting up the next day and still attempting to take a step forward. Why? Because failure is not an option.
Never has been.
No. And I do not and refuse to understand the definition of quit. And
It's a good thing.
yes, it really is. No, but that I
If I was wearing a hat some days, it'd be like, dang it.
because I was being interviewed on a podcast today, and I was like that, like, there's nothing wrong with profit. Profit's good. But if you're doing it solely for money or solely for profit, like, that's not a strong enough why. Like, there are going to be days that are going to test your will. And money cannot be your sole motivating factor, because it's not a strong enough motivator to will you past some of the problems that you're going to encounter, and the sacrifices that you're going to be called to make. Money itself is a motivator, but it's not the end-all be-all. And if you think that that is your end-all be-all motivator, you will find a way, you will find a place that you throw in the towel, because you will just simply say, it's not worth it. And if you have a very strong why, then it will always be worth the stretch. And I have a very strong why. And my strong why, that's my whole thing, is I'm like, because it's all based in Coffee Junkies, Pizza Junkies, it's all based in the survival of that. So from my perspective, the people that are associated with Scared Rabbit and the people that are associated with Vickers are very fortunate in that they've got a leader that there's no failure is not an option. There's no quit, because those brands are now associated with Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies. And it's now under a fold of none of it can fail, because failure is not an option, because will never quit fighting for the survival of Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies. It's not, failure is not an option. Quit is not an option.
Well, as a previous business owner, I think that sometimes the best payment that I got, the profit is always nice financially, but for the business I was in, it was how happy my customers came out. Mm-hmm. And the joy that they had, the fun that they had. Granted, I was only open for 16 days out of the year, but within those 16 days, there was thousands of people that came in and would come out like, that was the best time ever. That place was badass. I loved it. And for me, that was way better than counting the money at the end of the night.
And I mean,
16 days out of the year.
I ran a haunted house for 10 years.
I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, it was successful. And I don't get into haunted houses, but I mean, it was
we were labeled one of the top haunted houses in the Midwest for 3 years in a row.
Nice.
So, and on their own way, because again, I don't do scary movies. I don't do scary movies for one or two reasons. Either the shit's scary and I'm like, I don't want that shit in my head. Like, I didn't need to see that. Yeah. Or it's B grade, so much garbage that I'm like, that's dumb. I just wasted time. I don't get a thrill out of being scared, but some people really do get a thrill and an adrenaline rush.
Oh, yes.
And you're serving people, and you serve people to the best way that you. It's funny though, because it's 6 degrees of separation here. I mean, Stephanie and her husband were partnered. Ex-husband. Okay.
That was a fast
Yeah, no, yeah, and it was quick. That was quick. They were partnered with a very dear friend of mine that died of a tragic accident.
Yes.
And then upon actually employing Stephanie, I come to find out that her father and I were union reps together, and again, he died of a very tragic accident. To which I didn't know any of this until we actually started talking and getting to know each other. And it was that 6 degrees of separation that the woman has been within visual of my circles a good amount of my life. We just didn't know each other.
Well, because at the beginning of Coffee Junkies, you sat outside of my haunted house.
Okay, and that was, I guess, right? Because
So-
at the beginning of Coffee Junkies, I was willing
That
to
was
go.
the first scare is you had to walk past.
Oh, no. Well, but it was one of my many, like, I'll do anything and everything just to get people to actually try my product. And
Yeah.
at that time, it was, we got really good hot chocolate.
You were giving people hot chocolate before they went in?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you stand in line for 2.5 hours, you get
Well,
cold.
I was just thinking people getting scared with a hot cup of coffee. Like, oh.
No.
No. They had to
Somebody's
stand.
getting
No.
burned.
They had to stand in line to wait. So
Yeah.
while they were waiting, we were selling them hot drinks while they were waiting their turn to go.
I mean,
into
as the
haunted
years
house.
go on, you stand in line for almost 4 hours to go through this haunted house.
I'm not a person to.
No, that's right.
No, we were
I'm
that
sitting there
good.
going, yeah,
We were that
I'm
good.
not
I'm
standing
not
in.
saying you weren't.
No,
I
that's
just
what I said. I'm
I
not.
wouldn't wait 4 hours to go in.
I'm not standing in line for 4 hours to wait to either be scared or disappointed because I wasn't scared. Either way, I'm not. That's like scaring is not. That's
If I
not.
wanted to get in that bad, you use the pizza trick. Oh, if you got a pizza bag and a uniform, you can get anywhere you want to go.
True that.
I don't care what it
Oh, we
is.
should
Yep.
try that.
Wow.
GoPro and see where we can get into places.
I mean, I have the footage.
Hey, I'll be
and
the
he's not president now.
delivery.
No, that's just about you say.
I got
camera
through-
crew coming. What? This is a famous guy. You got to let us in.
Like, I got through Secret Service to get the intersection with Trump when he
that's
was down
funny.
in Indy. With
Oh
an
my
empty pizza
lord.
bag.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah.
Like everything shut down. I was like, but I just got this pizza. I got delivered to this house right here. Like everything's closed. I was like, it's just 3 houses in. The bag was empty. They didn't check
and
me.
they bought it.
Yep, let me drive right on through.
Wow.
Wow.
Tighten your shit up.
Interesting.
Okay, let's keep that. Let's keep this moving. The Rebecca has yet to really like chime in, and I doubt. I mean, this has been one of them. When I don't know if she's going to even come with a question. What do you?
I want to know why you said the Rebecca.
Oh, that's a whole nother.
No, I get it.
I
I
did
get it.
not
I get
look.
it. But
I mean-
I would think that you would say the Rebecca.
But there's a story behind
Okay,
this.
okay.
Okay, and I did not give her that name. Her husband gave her that name.
Okay.
But he didn't do it in a good way. Uh-oh. But it did kind of stick in a certain way. And I made a comment about it in one of our first podcasts. And she just, and I felt that, like, that vibe, that passive aggressive,
What
like,
the heck are you doing?
there we go. So when we came back around to it, she was like, oh no, you put it out there. So
There it is.
that's, yeah, there we go.
Rebecca.
Okay.
Say it in a different tone. I didn't hear Matt's question.
Matt didn't
have one.
didn't have a question per se.
Mine was like, why didn't we follow plans?
Yeah.
Why didn't we make plans?
Oh, okay.
Because I was working and it was like, hey, people are coming. We're doing a podcast. Grab everything, run upstairs.
Yeah.
And here we
Which he says that he was given a, hey, I'm going to go see if Stephanie wants to participate in our podcast. I'll be back in a little bit. So it wasn't just a total, I'm dropping this on you. He knew what I was doing, but okay.
No confirmation.
What do you got? I did a confirmation. I mean, yeah, we need more
Yeah,
confirmations.
she's in, so now there's a podcast. No, none of that.
Miss Rebecca, please,
Is that how you address me?
no.
So, well,
we
you
go.
raised prices recently.
I did. Not because I wanted to, but
I get it. I get it. But how your employees don't get it. Employees think that you should be sharing some of that extra profits that you're getting from raising your prices. So,
I'm laughing right now because she's hit and she struck a chord and I'm pissed off and they're gonna, like, it's good that my employees that are not in front of me, because they'd be, go ahead, finish your statement, because I'm ready to go off.
I can see it. The veins are popping out and everything. Calm down. Calm down.
yeah.
Look what
That's
you
we
did.
like. I know. See?
Okay. Yep. She's the Rebecca.
This is the fun of the podcast.
How do you explain to them? And I've tried. I tried telling them, look, go to the grocery store. I know, I go to the grocery store and it's like, okay, that tripled in price. What the heck? I'm not buying that. But they don't get it. That why are you not sharing your extra money with them. Why our tips are going down? Because you raised your prices. We think we deserve some of that money. You're getting extra.
Here's my dilemma.
Can I say something real quick about the tips? Because I also do customer service in a restaurant, and it doesn't matter how expensive the item is. If you have good service, you'll get a good tip.
And yes.
Yep.
Amen. Thank you. Here's my issue. I don't want to wish negative on anybody. I'm a pretty positive individual. Sun on my face, man. I'll find the silver lining of anything. But what's pissing me off about this generation is I'm trying desperately hard not to wish pain on them, because they are so ungrateful. They take so much for granted because they are so far removed from knowing what real struggle looks like that they do not have realistic expectations about what the truth and reality of the world is. They have never had to struggle, and their mentality is what is screwing up this world because they don't know what struggle is. They've never had to struggle for anything, and they don't know what's going on and what's causing these price increases, because they're still not having to take their ass to the grocery store because mom and dad are purchasing and not educating them on what inflation is. They're not educating them on what it takes to actually pay bills and survive, and responsibilities of being an adult and living in the real world. Their parents, whether they're not educated themselves or are just not doing their job as a parent, are not like I want a layman's term. So we are in hyperinflation right now. Now, most people do not understand what hyperinflation is. So I'm going to tell you what is inflation. Inflation is devaluing of our dollar. Now, in normal times in history, inflation is so minor that it happens over such a length of time that you will say, man, I can't buy today what I could have bought 5 years ago for the same money. Here's the problem with hyperinflation. The correctness of that statement is, man, I can't buy today what I could have bought 5 months ago for the same money.
A week ago.
How about
Exactly.
yesterday?
The simple fact is our government is printing money that is backed by nothing, sending it all overseas, putting debt on our head, and they're making the dollar worthless. Our dollar bill, what is worth what everybody knows, this is what I can get for $1. They have killed 30% of that in the last 12 months. So prices are not going up. Values of things are not going up. The dollar is being devalued, which means it's taking more dollars to get the same products and services that you used to be able to get for the same money, because they keep printing it backed by nothing, and they keep killing the value of the dollar. Milk that a year ago we could get for $2 a gallon is not overnight worth $4 a gallon. It's that the dollar bill that you were buying the milk with, that you could buy it for two $1 bills, the dollar bills are worth 50% less than they were a year ago. So it now takes 4 of them to buy that gallon of milk. We are in the coffee industry. So when you make lattes and mochas, 80% of the contents of that freaking cup is dairy. We are buying thousands of gallons a month in milk. And when our cost goes from $2 to $4 for that gallon of milk, I have to increase prices or my doors don't stay open. I'm not making any more money. I'm not profiting anymore. I'm adjusting my prices because the prices of the actual dollar figures are going up because the dollar itself is worth less. And I have said for a long time, we're going to end up paying $5 for a loaf of bread. And when we pay $5 for a loaf of bread, we're going to pay $10 for a cup of coffee. And it doesn't have to be this way, because 2 years ago we were paying $2 for a gallon of gas. Now you're paying $5 for a gallon of gas. It didn't happen on its own. It happened due to people electing people and government policies put in place that caused this shit. But we have customers and employees that want to look at little old me as I'm doing this. I'm oppressing my employees. I'm oppressing my customers. One of the hardest things for a small business to do is raise their prices. It took me a decade for me to finally get past that lump in my throat, because I felt bad that I'm having to tell my customers, I need you to pay me more for the same product.
Wait, so this is actually only our third price increase since?
No. But what the thing is, it would like Starbucks has been very meticulous. They every 6 months to a year they're coming with a price increase. It would take me 2 to 3 years for me to bite the bullet. I would know.
Because we've done it twice in the 5 years I've been.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's a good example. That's what I'm saying. Hard to increase prices on your loyal customers. You feel bad about it, but it was me mentally having to get over it and say, if I don't increase my prices, I can't maintain my margins. If I can't maintain my margins, I can't keep my doors open, because the deck is stacked against small business. Government does not give a shit about small business. I do not care what lip service they give you at the mic. They do not care about small business. It is stacked to keep you broke. And if you do not increase your prices along with inflation, you cannot protect your margins, which means you will lose everything that you have worked for. We have raised prices twice in the last year, and it was not done because I wanted to do it. It was done because of necessity. It was done because of what our government has done. They have caused this inflation. They have devalued our dollar at a very rapid rate. And all you have to do is go back and look and say, like, 75% of our national debt has been created in the last 5 years. Like, that shit does not happen without repercussions and consequences on the other side. You cannot just spend money that is backed by nothing and not expect there an equal and opposite to come out of it. I, over the years, have tried to explain to my employees economics and tried to explain to them costs, because the biggest fallacy of every employee that runs a cash register is that a dollar bill gets put in that cash register and they stupidly, and yes, I'm calling them dumb. If you think that a dollar bill that goes in the cash register is a dollar that goes into the business owner's pocket, you're dumb. It doesn't happen like that. A dollar bill comes in. Out of that dollar, I got to pay for cost of sale. I got to pay for labor.
Taxes.
I got to pay for taxes.
Rent.
I got to pay rent.
Lights.
Utilities.
Yeah.
Then we're not getting into
Insurance.
the government agency, the insurance, the fees, the health,
Advertisement.
the health permits. I'm lucky to keep 10 pennies. Like a business that is running well will keep 20 cents of every dollar that comes in, and that's EBITDA, earnings before taxes and interest. Like, once you get to the point of like, I've got profit, the government's like, I want my cut.
About that.
Yeah, and that's the cut on the back, because they're taking the cut on the front side. They're making you collect sales tax. They're taxing you in every area that they can pre-profit tax. And then if you are able to get a profit on the other end, they want their cut of that.
It's almost like that commercial where they're dangling the dollar on the fishing pole, and you're reaching it like, oh, you almost.
No, well,
you
and the thing is,
almost got it.
we've talked about this before. They want employees because they want you on that hamster wheel, because you work and then they tax your labor and then you get what's left over. Well, the entrepreneur, obviously, I mean, in a lot of ways, entrepreneurship is like headstrong, like you don't succumb to the system. So you found your way into a new system. And the government's like, we got an answer for that too. Because they want to keep their thumb on you to keep you always working for the carrot that is always 3 foot in front of you, but you never actually get a bite of it. And they do not care, but they give really good lip service. The one thing the government is masters at is marketing. And I mean, like, one only point to the CARES Act. One only point to the Patriot Act. Like, the shit sounds real good until you read the words that they put in there, and it's real bad.
I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the carrot being close with lip service. I just got stuck on that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're going funny, but my brain totally, because
no, I get it. I know.
This bothers me because the thing is from my union background, like, it's all about the people, like that connectivity. Like, I'm proud to be able to employ people. But when my own people that I'm like, one of the girls, we had a price increase and a customer started to complain, and she was like, well, I'm sorry, but we're a small business. And I'm like, no, this has got not jack shit to do with the small business. Milk went to $4 and it was $2. Sugar, milk, flour, basic items. All of your commodity staples prices have went up by 50 to 100%.
Well, there was a issue with the eggs and the milk not too long ago. They had a bunch of chickens that had gotten sick, so they had to get rid of eggs. And then there was something in the milk, they had to get rid of milk. So there's a price increase in all dairy.
But I'll take that a step further. And I don't know the whole story on this, but I know that the government was mandating and threatening farmers and making them dump tar on their crops. Now, when you kill crops that are meant to be part of our food supply chain, you're going to have an effect on that commodity's price. I'm not saying I understand their rationale. I'm sure there's some intellectual jackass up there that has gotten people to believe this for the government to literally send notice to farmers saying, we're going to fine you if you don't destroy your crops in this manner. I'm just a little guy. But that's not the point.
It's a complicated.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. I'm not saying it's not complicated.
It was dumb.
I try to understand and explain to people in layman's terms, because I'm like, there's not enough just simple basic information so that us common folk down here can try and understand what jackassery you guys are doing up there and telling us that you just somehow know better than us. Because I'm here to tell you from a regular dude, I don't want to pay $4 for a gallon of milk. I was totally fine with $2. I don't want to pay $5 for a gallon of gas. I was totally fine with $2. And whatever bullshit you've dreamed up there to justify moves that made this happen, like, it's not okay.
Well, they made the move so it didn't bottom out the economy, so then they wouldn't make any money, knowing that when demand came back, prices are going to soar, so then everybody's getting record profits.
Well, and then the sad thing is, big businesses have billions of dollars in the bank, so they can weather this fuckery from one season, from 1 year to the next. Small businesses do not have the reserves to be able to do that. So the only thing that I know to do is to react as quickly as possible. And again, sorry, when milk goes from $2 to $4 a gallon, I'm raising my prices. And I'm not doing it because I want to, and I'm not doing it for greed, and I'm not doing it for profit. I'm here to tell you, I'm raising my prices to survive. So I don't have more to give employees because Kroger took it from me when they charged me $4 a gallon for the same milk they were charging me $2 a gallon. And I'm sure they have a reason for having to do that, but that's not the point. I raised the price because my cost of sale increased, so I needed more revenue in to actually pay to continue to bring those products in. It doesn't leave more money because I'm profiting more, so I should be sharing more with my employees. And oh, by the way, all wages have been forced up. Everybody is taking home more actual dollar bills. It's just not buying you anymore because government told you you should sit on your ass and do nothing unless you make $15 an hour. What they didn't tell you was they were going to get you to $15 an hour through massive inflation. So your $15 an hour is going to buy you the same thing that your $10 an hour was buying you before they went on their political bullshit rants of telling you should be making $15 an hour.
You're going to make Stephanie never come back.
Because the only person that wins is the government, because they've made promises and they have to pay bills. So if you go from 10 to 15 an hour, the dollar amount that they're collecting in employee withholding taxes is bigger. That allows them to spend more money. So when they push to make more money, they don't give a shit about you or me. They need more actual dollars in payroll taxes flowing to the government. So they are the only ones that win. They're just giving you lip service at the mic so that they retain power and they can keep on doing what they always do. Making promises, never having to meet a payroll, because they don't know dick about economics, but they know something about being politicians and making promises that don't worry about what happens to the common man. We're the intellectuals up here, and we know better than them, and they should just sit down and shut up because we're the intelligent ones, and we know better than everybody else. They forget that their jobs wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the actual common man, and when they go up there, they're supposed to go up there to represent us, and they don't.
Yeah, they're representing the corporations that make them rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I get it. Mm-hmm. But it pisses me off when they do such a good job in their marketing that they have the kids believing it's okay to be lazy. It's okay to expect more. You're not, they're telling them you should expect to get without giving. And that's not how the world works. You want more, you got to give more. You want more money, you have to be willing to take on more responsibility. You have to be willing to give more of yourself if you want to expect more in return. And I didn't raise prices out of greed. And we have been giving people raises where we are capable because inflation, again, I get it. It's devaluing the people that we were paying 10 and 12 an hour. We're now paying 13 and 15 an hour. They're not making any more, though, because the dollar buys less. They have not moved themselves further ahead. None of us have moved further ahead. The government has moved their Ponzi scheme further ahead because they make a promise in this day and age at this number, and they need to devalue the currency so that the number gets bigger tomorrow so that they can keep making bigger promises. And that, in layman's terms, is inflation, and I'm sorry that our employees feel that way because they mean a lot to me. They are taking care of a brand and a baby that everybody here knows why and where Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies comes from. And I will give, but I can't give what I don't have, and I'm not raising prices out of greed. I'm doing it because I'm reacting to what our government has caused, and I'm just trying to keep the doors open.
I get it.
I know you do.
And some of them do get it. But there's some that I get if the kids, the young ones, don't get it because they're not seasoned enough. They haven't seen enough. They don't go to the grocery store. Mom and Dad still go, but it's the ones that are a little older, and it's like, I don't understand why you don't see.
No, and I'm going to go back to, because it was just, when I heard him say it, it was just such a profound, and I don't know if Rogan actually produced this or whether he just found it, but it was hard times create hard men create easy times create soft men create hard times. Something of that nature. Yes, because the point is, the generations underneath me don't know shit about struggle. Mm-mm. And they take it all for granted, and they think that this is the way the world is and that they should just be able to be entitled to be lazy sacks of shit that never make anything of themselves. And they're going to find out what hard times are because our system is set up on like Social Security. You're paying in not to take care of yourself. You're paying in to take care of somebody else. And that's why Social Security is going to bust because they borrowed from it. And this generation doesn't want to work.
Closer and closer.
Well, they don't want to work to pay for the generation that is now ready to retire. And when they quit working, okay, one, they're opening the door for automation to take their jobs. And then they're going to wonder why their quality of life goes to shit because you didn't get out and work for a higher quality of life because you don't know what real struggle is. I mean, like my grandparents went through the Depression. They know what it's like to literally fear not having the next meal. And I'm not saying that I struggled in that manner, but as a kid, I remember standing in government lines waiting for our government cheese. We never went without a meal, but the struggle was real, and I was not so far removed as to know the struggle my parents went through and know the real struggle their parents went through to where I know what it looks like, and there's always been that fear inside of me of this could happen again. History can repeat itself. Freedom is not free. You take the shit for granted, and it will be taken away from you. And this generation is taking it so much for granted that it's like they're taunting hard times. Like they don't think that it will come. And I'm here to tell you it will come, and they're not going to be prepared for it. They're going to be soft. No calluses, because they've never had to struggle. They've never had to fight for nothing. And consequently, because of my entrepreneurial ambitions, this is a lot of the workforce that we're having to deal with today. And it's throwing us for a loop because, I mean, like that hard work was ingrained in me a long time ago. I don't know how to do anything but work and work for. And I've always despised thieves and liars because liars are bad character, and thieves, if you're trying to steal somebody else's shit, well, then you didn't work for it. You have no real appreciation for what it's like to work for something that you want and achieve it through actual hard work. Things come so easy to this generation. If they can't get the answer with a couple strokes of a thumb on their phone, things have come too easy to this generation, and there's going to be repercussions. And if I'm fearful, that's where I'm fearful because I'm sitting there going, you have bigger businesses that are throwing so much more money to automation because you know what? Machines don't talk back.
Until they do.
Right?
Yeah,
Nope. You're exactly right. And that's where I go back to Elon Musk going, I just hope the machines are kind to us. And he's like, in a very real sense, he's seeing what the future is. And
They'll keep making them smarter and smarter, and they're going to realize, damn, these humans are the most destructive thing on this planet.
yeah, exactly.
And if we just get rid of the humans, well, then everything's going to be taken care of.
There we go. And
iRobot as well. Is that the movie?
that was one of them. That was
like,
because
that's
they
gonna
made
come true.
that's the whole thing is they made a lot of movies like that. And it's like, you know what? If they can dream it in the movies, it's not too far behind. Okay, I don't know how long this one went for, but we're going to wrap this up. So, yeah, no, it did, and we tend to let it run long. But any which way, if you got anything from the show, share the show. I'm trying. I'm a guy. I'm trying to build some shit. Right, rate the show.
So, do people get to make comments?
In places.
Yeah, there are certain different platforms that they will allow you to actually make comments, but the only thing that I can encourage is to rate the show and share the show because I'm hoping that it's either interesting enough or comical enough or educational enough for the lowly old layman regular folk of the world that it gets shared.
Well, I'm in it. They're going to love it.
Okay, there we go. And
I'm the newest edition. You're welcome.
there we go. All right. Until next time, you guys have a good night.